So today we have 10 cheap fragrances that even niche snobs would enjoy. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with liking luxury premium products in the form of niche fragrances. I just want to make that clear. And liking said products doesn't make you a niche snob, at least not by my definition. What makes someone a niche snob is when they like those products and then they hate on everything else that isn't a niche luxury $200, $300, $400+ scent. And they will especially go in on cheapies. That's where the bulk of the community starts to have an issue, and that's where the term niche snob really comes from. I've got a ton of niche fragrances, most of which I've purchased with my own money, and I wear niche fragrances, right? Love them. But I also still love cheapies. Therefore, I'm not a niche snob. I don't look down on anything that isn't premium. But the idea behind this video was I wanted to go through my collection and pick out some cheapies that really do bring a lot to the table in terms of their quality, their uniqueness, and even their performance. And by cheap, I'm looking at everything under $40 here, which really anything from up to $100 could be cheap when you're comparing it to niche prices, but I wanted to stick to actual cheapies for this video. I will link them down below to discounters so you can actually get them at cheap prices. And we just need to go ahead and dive right into it, right after I fix my hair. And oh, if you were wondering, yes, I am tired. Not sure if you could tell or not. Usually you guys are pretty good about being able to tell when I look horrendously tired. And I am right now, just in case you were wondering. Karl Lagerfeld Bois d'Ambre. Now this one has amber, it's got leather, there's a little bit of orange in here, clary sage, tonka bean. It smells a little bit like a cross between Dolce & Gabbana The One, EDP, EDT, and Armani Code Profumo. Just a nice tonka amber scent that usually you can get for about $30, $29 for a 100 ml bottle. This is not a 100 ml, but that's kind of what it goes for. I don't know where I got this bottle from, but the 100 mils definitely weren't in stock at that time because I probably paid close to that for this little 50 mil. So if you can get the 100 for 29 bucks, go that route. This one smells very nice. You know, it is going to be a familiar scent, but in this price range, it does a lot of things really well. It's got nice quality for the price. It's got good performance for the price. Not beast mode, but it holds its own. And while, you know, it's going to very much take some inspiration from a couple of the most popular men's designer fragrances ever, it's got its own twist here with the aromatics, the clary sage, and some of the orange, bergamot, to where it kind of makes it stand out a little bit. I think it's really good. Next up, we have Missoni Wave. So this is a flanker to Missoni Pour Homme Parfum. And I really like what they did here. Essentially what they did, at least to me, is they created a hybrid of Versace Pour Homme, Chanel Allure Homme Sport. Those each are different in their own way, being that the Versace is overall the brightest. The Chanel introduces some creamier sweetness to that DNA. Both are great. You can't go wrong with either of them. The Versace is obviously going to be the more affordable one of the two. The Chanel is always going to be at retail price, a little over $100. But this one as well, the Missoni, you can also get for usually a little bit under $40 online at discounters. This one might be right on the edge, depending on where you're shopping, but it's going to be right around in there. Definitely very affordable, and it's another one that gives you a lot in return. You know, you get fantastic quality out of this one. It smells amazing, and it's right on par with the Versace. You know, it doesn't smell cheap or anything like that. The presentation is nice. It's custom presentation, magnetic cap, nice atomizers you saw a second ago. Just all around a nice package that you can't complain about, and smells fantastic. Next up, Rochas L'Homme. So this one surprised me in such a great way. It's got blood orange, some tonka bean in here, pineapple, geranium, that sort of thing going on. It smells a little bit to me like Dolce & Gabbana K, right? But this is 10 times better than that scent. This one is more affordable than K. It lasts longer than K. It even, to me, it's just more interesting. It's richer, and it kind of has better quality to me than that Dolce & Gabbana. I just think this is all around the better scent. It's aromatic and a little bit mature, kind of more of a traditional take here, being that it is heavy on those aromatics. That geranium kind of fruitiness, gives it this really unique quality that you don't smell in a lot of fragrances. So it's one that ultimately stands out, and you can get testers of this for less than 30 bucks, sometimes 27. You can get full presentation for around 30, 32. It's well under the $40 range, and it is worth really for everyone to have in their collection. Next up, we have Bentley for Men. This is going to be the black edition. Now this one here has tangerine, it's got papyrus, violet, woody notes, that sort of thing. There's a good amount of notes going on in here. Cedar wood being that of the woody notes as well. And I'll just say right now, really any fragrance from this line could have been put in here. Bentley for Men, EDT, Intense, the EDP, Absolute, really any of those three there. You know, you get into, I guess, Silver Lake and maybe not so much, but it could be, I suppose. But I wanted to change it up because I do talk about those other three quite often here, and I don't talk about this one all that much. It's a nice violet, fresh, fruity scent, but then with a little bit of a dry cedar wood. The papyrus is giving off that kind of smoky, spicy accord, kind of similar to that of Bentley for Men Absolute. It's just going to be the fresher one of those three that I was talking about for sure, and making it a little bit more wearable. But one thing that it doesn't sacrifice is its quality, its performance, or even its uniqueness. This still maintains a very unique composition, and usually $28, $29, $30 for 100 ml on discounters. You really can't go wrong with any of these Bentley fragrances at this price point. They are just some of the best purchases out there. Next up, we have Cerruti 1881. This is going to be the signature version. Pretty cool looking bottle here on this one. I've always thought that was pretty neat. And man, love this stuff. Think of La Nuit de l'Homme, but with a prominent leather accord is how I view this one. It's got black pepper, it's got cardamom, a little bit of a sweet tonka bean in there, dustiness, powderiness, and then a good dose of leather that you get right off the top. And it's a really good leather note as well. You get into fragrances that are at this price point, which this is around, I believe, $30, $35, 100 ml. And some of the leather fragrances are fragrances that have leather written down in the note breakdown, but when you smell it, you don't really get any of that leather. They're a little bit, a little bit tricky with that, kind of trying to be a little bit clickbaity there. But this is a fragrance that does put out this fantastic leather accord. It smells great. Any La Nuit de l'Homme fans out there who want something that, again, is a little bit similar to that DNA, but with a leathery approach and just something ultimately quite unique, check this one out. I love it. Here's another one that I've been talking about for a little while that I enjoy. Hugo Boss Bottled Selection. Love the details on this presentation. Minor. You've got a brushed finish on the top of the cap there that I've pointed out before. It might not show up on video. Very minimalistic presentation overall, but it smells fantastic with this pink pepper, musk, and woody base, essentially is what it is. It's something that is very simplistic. It doesn't take much to break this one down. It's not something that's super complex, but again, it's minimalistic, done in the best way possible. Not only the presentation, but even the scent. You know, it's not trying too hard. The fragrance itself isn't muddled up with a bunch of notes that don't need to be there. They knew what they were going for with this one, and it was just a very clean, wearable, and fresh scent that could be your everyday scent. And usually this is going to be, I think, lower 20s to mid $20 range, somewhere around in there. You can't go wrong with this one. One of my all-time favorite cheapies up next, St. Barts by Tommy Bahama. Love this stuff. It's got tequila, salt, lime. There's some sort of watery note type of thing they got going on in here. I've never smelled salt and tequila in a fragrance like I have in this one. And this is $20 online. I've got a lot of stuff, but nothing quite like this. I mean, really, it's quite insane. Now, look, it's an eau de cologne, and it performs like an eau de cologne. It performs like your typical $20 scent would, or at least you would expect it to. Not really that great, but when you can get bottles of this for that price, don't be shy. I do not go light on this one in the summertime. When I wear it, I wear it. I load myself down with this stuff, and it works. You get good projection out of it when you spray heavily, and when you apply it to your clothes and your towels, beach towels and stuff as well, you'd be surprised on how long it'll stick around. Fantastic smelling scent that smells like the beach, like the ocean, like a tropical vacation. You gotta have this one. Next up, we have Chic for Men by Carolina Herrera. Really big fan of this here because it smells a little bit like First Instinct by Abercrombie & Fitch. But what's nice about this is it's not quite as youthful and tropical smelling. It's got watermelon, it's got cinnamon, sandalwood, some black pepper in here. So you get that melony smell, and that's kind of where that comparison's coming from. And even with the black pepper and sandalwood, right, those notes do kind of match up to First Instinct. But this one still does have more depth, a little bit more sweetness to it, more richness, and again, it's less playful. It doesn't smell like an Abercrombie & Fitch fragrance. It's one of those things where when you smell First Instinct, you're kind of just like, yeah, this is Abercrombie & Fitch. It just has that vibe about it, but this one's a little bit more classy overall, but it's still very affordable online. It's one of the cheaper ones from this brand, and also performance is impressive too. Talked about this one recently, but it's a perfect fit for this video as well. It's Lalique L'Insoumis. Gets compared a little bit to Straight to Heaven by Kilian, which is one of my favorite niche fragrances, one of my all-time favorites. I love that stuff. I've got the original, I've got the extreme, I've got the Oud and Musk special blend. It took me a lot of work and a lot of money to track down those special editions, but I love the scent DNA so much that I just went to the ends of the earth to get them. And I'm happy that I did. Now, this is not like a straight up clone of that DNA. There are some key differences. Atomizer is great, by the way. But it's got that rum, bay leaf kind of sweetness, that booziness, that richness, that sexiness. There's something that is very inviting and alluring and addicting about this one. And for about $30 to $35 online, this is one of the most unique fragrances you can get, just period, at that price point. It's really cool stuff. And we'll end this one with Franck Olivier. It's Oud Vanille. This is an eau de parfum, and this is about $25 online. It's on clearance right now, so great price. And it smells beautiful. Oud and vanilla is really all you need to know, with some incense, smokiness. I mean, I haven't sprayed this bottle in a while, but just smelling it off the atomizer, I get the incense right off the bat, smokiness. I get the vanilla, I get the oud. We'll go ahead and give it a spray. Might as well. It's even not fully primed, and you get a good dose of that oud when you spray it. So one thing to be aware of, if you're buying this one, well, the oud is going to be somewhat prominent in this fragrance, so do be aware of that. It's still a designer level oud, and look, it's $25. The niche snobs will go in on this one because oud in the title, and of course this is not a natural oud fragrance, right? But look, for the money, for a beginner, for someone who just wants to smell nice and a little bit unique, you really can't beat this for the price point. If you're wanting a super high quality natural oud fragrance, well, you got to pay up for that type of stuff. But a nice synthetic oud scent that doesn't really smell all that cheap either, by the way, considering what you're paying for it, this is a nice one to have around. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 cheap fragrances that are so good, even niche snobs might end up really liking these. These are nice to have around, great dumb reaches, especially here for the upcoming cooler months. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.